Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kirpatadham bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Pramanand Madhvam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ram Sankirtan ki jai Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai ISKCON founder Acharya His Divine Grace Prabhupada ki jai Symbol Bhakti Vrind ki jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Share my screen here. Hare Krishna. So we'll get into second chapter. So anybody remember what did we discuss last class? Let me give you summary and then we can get into it. So in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, both the Kaurav and Pandav's armies are assembled and they are about to fight. Then Arjun requested Krishna, Sena Ubhayor Mamratha Asthapita Achyuta. Oh Lord Achyuta, in the middle of both the army, please take my chariot so that I can see who are assembled here to fight. And Krishna, knowing that Arjuna, being a pure devotee, is going to be compassionate and he will ask questions. And then the chariot was right in front of Dronacharya and Bhispitama. Seeing them and seeing all of his other relatives, such as grandfathers, father-in-laws, brothers, sisters, people of his age, his bhratas, and then Prithvi's, his father's age, and then his son's age and his grandson's age. All seeing there, he became very, very compassionate. Oh, how can I fight? How can I fight with my people? So we made a point that Arjun is pure devotee. So for sure, Arjun knows what is the difference between body and soul. Arjun is very aware with that relationship. But Krishna wanted Bhagavad Gita to appear. Why? Sakalena Mahata Yoga Nastah Parantapa. With due course of time, this science has lost. So that was the purpose. So Arjuna was put into Yog Maya potency. He was put into certain, degree of illusion so that he would start acting as a normal person and ask the question that you and I would ask when we have similar situation in our life. So that should be in back of our mind, then what's happening is that Arjun is now giving the reasons that why he should not fight. That's very important, right? We all, and I said that we all have a fight, some type of fight, and should we fight or should we not fight? So he says that how can I kill my friends and relatives? And that is mostly coming out of compassion. Compassion of devotee, compassion of the living being also. And that part is also answered in this chapter from verse number 11 to 30. So if you can make a note. So Arjuna's first question, which is how can I fight with my friends and relatives, are coming out of his compassion, which is based on bodily symptoms. And that was asked in previous chapter, verse number 28 to 30. And that has been answered in second chapter from 11 to 30. Krishna will try to help Arjuna understand that we are not this body. And then the second reason he says that even if we become victorious, I do not see any reason to fight. And everything that is happening in our life, so called enjoyment that we get in our life, we have it because there are friends and family and relatives and sons and daughters to see, to watch, to husbands and wives to watch. So we enjoy some wealth, some possession with our family members, with our relatives, with our surrounding. But Arjun is saying here that even if I become victorious, I mean, what is the point of this victory? Because all of these relatives whom I am going to enjoy with, they will be killed. So even if I become victorious, I don't want that type of victory. And that is also answered here in second chapter from verse number 31 to 37. And then the third reason he gives, that it's sinful reaction to kill, living being, and especially kill our relatives. How can I kill my own relatives? My grandfather, Vishpitama, my guru, Dronacharya, how I can kill them? And then he says that even if they killed me, even me, without without raising my bow and arrows, without touching any any astra, I am without any arm. Even if they come and kill me in that situation, that's good for me. Rather me killing those personality. So you can see, what's the quality of a devotee when someone is very advanced in their consciousness, how they see. They are not too much concerned about their own loss. It's not like that Arjuna has forgotten how much suffering Pandavas had to go through from their childhood. Dronacharya as a spiritual master, Bhispitama as a grandfather, or like their fathers, mothers taking care of them. And on the other side, the sons of Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, and all of them were trying every means to kill them, torture them, and and put them aside. But see how much compassion Arjuna has. He's saying that even without arm, without me putting up, taking up any shastra, if they come and kill me, I'm good with that. But okay, so I would not like to uh, fight with them. And then the fourth reason he gives is a very, very strong reason. He says that number one, our family dynasty will be destructed. And with that, all the women will become widow. And with that, unwanted progeny, because they will start mingling with the people who are outsider, people of the different varna. And then when unwanted progeny will come, then the family lineage, the pitridan, the rites that we do for our forefather, that will stop. So he's saying that not this present destruction has both past and future consequences. The past consequences that the rights that we have for our forefather, that will stop, and then they will go to Naraka. And future consequence is that people who will take birth in the family will be of bad nature, will be Varnasankara. And this particular statement has a lot of critical application in our lives today. Society has come to that stage where there is no rule, there is no regulation for mingling. People are openly, mingling with whoever they like, and a lot of abortion going on. Lucky ones take birth, they struggle, after 17, 18 years. This is all very different type of civilization. Of course, people have some perspective, some understanding. They say certain thing, everything is back and forth. I'm not, disagreeing with that. I'm accepting that that's true. At the same time, there is a code of conduct in the society. Society has to society has to conduct with certain code, and the code of conduct is managed by managed by forefathers, managed by the leaders of the society. And if they don't manage it, then there is chance that society will get distracted, society will get deluded, society will get in a track that is not going to retain the value. Vedic culture is based on value system, it's not an open system, and we'll talk about some of these things later. So Vedic system, the Vedic way of living a life is based on value system, and we'll talk about that. So this chapter is called Content of Gita Summarized, because in nutshell, this chapter talks about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. In the very beginning, we talked that Bhagavad Gita has these three major topics: Karma Yoga, first six chapter, and Jnana Yoga, last six chapter, and then Bhakti Yoga is sandwich in the middle, 7 to 12, because it's the most precious subject. So it has to be protected. Bhakti has to be protected by some degree of karmic activity to understand what to be done, what not to be done. Bhakti also has to be protected by some degree of jnana, some degree of understanding of who we are, who the souls are, who the living beings are. So this chapter in nutshell talks about all these three concepts: karma yoga, jnana yoga, and bhakti yoga, which are the topic for uh, Bhagavad Gita. And in this chapter also, Lord Krishna presents an analytical study of the body, which is gross body, and soul, which is eternal. And that that part is Gyan Yoga, but also it's called Sankhya Yoga. So, what is the distinction between body and soul? And that Krishna has presented in a very analytical way. So, when we try to understand certain fact through the process of analysis, then that's called Sankhya. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. So 4 plus 2 will be 6. So this is an analytical process. Certain norms are being followed, and with that norm, you conclude, you get a outcome. So when somebody will ask you, what is Sankhya? The answer you can give, Sankhya is Gyan Yoga, part of Gyan Yoga or Gyan Yoga, which is based on analytical study of subject to come to a specific finding. That is called Sankhya Yoga. And Krishna will very clearly explain, as I said, what is the difference between body and soul. And this chapter also, when it talks about Bhakti Yoga, it starts talking about Niskam and Sakam karmas. So Sakam karmas are the karma which are oriented for fruitive result. And Niskam karmas are the karmas which are done without any reactions. So Niskam Karma Yoga becomes Buddhi Yoga, becomes Bhakti Yoga. And then Krishna talks about that one whose faith is firm. Very important concept here. And we also call them Jivan Muktaha, Sit Pragya Ka Bhasa. What is the symptom of a person whose whose faith is firm, firm in the process of bhakti, how that person act? And then Krishna uh, gives the answer that how that person will act. So this chapter, many scholar, Bhagavad Gita, or many branches of Vedic theology, like Vedanta Society and other, they think that this is the most important chapter. Because when you open a book, like if you open the Bhagavad Gita or any other book, you'll see that you have a content. And content, they says that observing the army of the battlefield, content of the Gita summarize, Karma Yoga, transcendental knowledge, Karma Yoga in Krishna consciousness, Dhyana Yoga, knowledge of the absolute. Like you have the chapters, and then chapter says you have a list of chapters and then page number. So if you want to know more about Karma Yoga, third chapter, page number 120, whatever page it is. And then you go and study in deeply about Karma Yoga. So contents of Gita summarized means it's kind of a content saying Bhagavad Gita has these topics that has been spoken upon, and then Krishna is step by step giving broader view, broader perspective on that particular topic. So that's how the scholars of Gita approach. I'll give you all types of perspective, okay? Our perspective, others' perspective, so that you have a broader understanding. Gita is a universal, science, universal subject that is touched and studied and read by a scholar from, out of India too. So, and that's up to some extent true. Prabhupada also we also call this chapter Contents of Gita Summarize, because it's summarizing the content of Gita. So these 4 questions that Arjuna has asked in previous chapter is going to be answered in this chapter, plus little bit into next chapter. So with that, I would like to give a pause and see if you have anything to share before we get into next chapter. Anybody has anything? Any feedback, any realization, any thought process that you want to share?
Prabhuji, I really like this slide, the one that you have up right now. Would you be able to like send us um like a little just this slide or something? Maybe like you could take a picture of it or yeah.
Okay, I'll try to make a PDF. I'll see.
Okay. Thank you. Mm.
Hare Krishna,
You can
Prabhu.
also
Yeah,
take a screenshot if you want.
yeah, you can take a screenshot also.
Oh, okay. If I'm on my phone, I'll have to get
So
this.
normally, yeah, whatever works. Normally, I take a screenshot when but it's okay. Yeah.
Or I could also just write it down. Yeah, that works too. I would
Yeah,
just write
but
it.
also it's nice to develop the habit of writing,
Yeah, I'll
because
just write it.
writing helps a lot. A good point. Okay, Gopal Guru Prabhu, you were saying something.
Prabhu, you said Sankhya Yoga is Gnana Yoga plus analysis of analysis. So this is Sankhya is also something related to mathematics, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Sankhya really means analytical study, like in the remember all of us when we were a student, we had a theoretical class, and then you have a practical class where you basically, they say that if you add acid on metal, then there'll be CO2 and hydrogen gas that will form. Some so that type of study, you know, where two compounds, two chemicals are, you are mixing, the third chemical will form in all the organic and inorganic chemistry. So that's what it means. It means basically a very scientific study of any subject is called Sankhya philosophy. But that is also Gyan Yoga. Gyan Yoga also gives us a scientific understanding. So Gyani, the people who are trying to go to Krishna, Brahmameti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaneti, Shabdate. Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yadanam advayam Brahmameti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaneti, Shabdate. So people are approaching Krishna as Brahman, Krishna as uh, Paramatma, and Krishna as Bhagwan. So Gyan Yoga is a process by which one approach to Krishna in his Brahman form. And later, it might transfer and transform to Paramatma form. But what is this very simple example of Gyan? Very simple example of Gyan is that all the suffering that I have because I think myself I am body. So this designation that we have as a body, that giving me all types of emotions, pain and pleasure, all the duality that is going through. So I'm exposed to this duality because I perceive myself as a body. Okay. So let from tomorrow not start thinking that I am this body, act thinking that I'm not this body. So I'm not this body, that's the goal we want to get at. But then you would say that, I'm not this body, and in order for me to do that, I want to seize all the emotions. Any emotions that comes in my body, I'm going to ignore it.
Mhm.
Okay. And then you try, ignore, you start ignoring your emotion because you have a gyan that I'm not this body. The same, thing we also try to do, or we do not artificially try to ignore, or we basically try to get into a higher process. And that process will help us understand that we are not this body. Okay. Which is by, don't worry too much about thinking that we are this body or we are not this body. Know that we are, this body, but it's very hard in our current state of consciousness to not act as a body. So what do you do? Yukt Vairagya. Engage your life in devotional service. Chant the name of Krishna. Bhakti Yoga. So we take the process of Bhakti Yoga, which slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly brings soul one to the state where they understand that I am not this body. This is self-realization. So that self-realization has other process too. But Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says that any other process is going to be very, very difficult because artificially you cannot renounce being the body. Body has the need. Is it helpful? So so that's what Sankhya is. Sankhya is basically theoretically understanding that
Oh,
this how it works, and then somebody saying something. I hear some sound. Okay,
thank you,
Prabhu,
Prabhu.
Hare
thank
Krishna,
you,
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, so for the Sankhya or Gyan, Sankhya philosophy, when
Uh-huh.
they ignore, artificially try to ignore pain and pleasure, so what they get after, I mean, what is the goal for them to, like
Goal
Krishna
is
said,
goal is
Brahman.
that yeah, the goal is Brahman.
So for them, what does Brahman mean?
Brahman means effulgence of Krishna, merging into. So you have a sun,
Mhm.
then sun ray, and then person sun. So there is a person sun, then there is a sun globe, and then there is sun ray. So sun ray is coming from that person sun.
Mhm.
So bhakti will basically help you serve that person, and Gyan Yoga will help you merge to that sun ray. So Krishna is a person. He resides in Golok Vrindavan. So he is a person, and then his body has effulgence, and that effulgence is goal of Brahman. Brahman thinks that Lord has no form. That effulgence that's coming, the effulgence that existing, that is the ultimate truth, which is just the different degree of understanding. But we Bhakti Yoga teaches that that light that you are seeing, the effulgence that you are seeing, that is coming from a person. So if you, I'm not trying to criticize, but if you talk to Sikh, God is a light, they'll say God is light. They'll say Bhagwan kya hai? Light hai. Brahm Kumari, Prajapati and other people, they think that God is also has, he has no form, and but meditate on your Paramatma. So formless Paramatma. So they go up to Paramatma but they still think that, super soul that you have in your heart, that is your object of meditation. But we completely segregate soul and super soul. We say soul is eternal, soul has a form, soul has a body. Likewise, Lord is separate and he has a body, and that is Chitananda Vigraha. Anadi Radir Govinda Sarvakaran Karanam. He is cause of all the causes, but he is Chitananda Vigraha. Vigraha, Vigraha, right? Form. So he is a form of Sat Chit Ananda. So Jnani, their meditation is Brahman. Santa Mataji, what you are trying to say, please? I see you are raising hand.
Yes, Prabhuji. So the question is, yeah, we are ignoring emotions and we wanted to make in that way, and we need to do the bhakti. But as long as we get we see the happiness, right? Somewhere, uh, uh, maybe seems we are losing the enjoyment. I mean, enthusiasm, and sometimes we feel like this is like mechanical, just going like that, or like a, I cannot say robo completely, but somewhere, because see, we need to get that uh, Sachitananda or Ananda while we are doing that bhakti, right? Until unless we start enjoying and we are ignoring the emotions, maybe somewhere feel like uh, distress or something is missing.
Yeah, so we don't ignore we as a devotee, we do not ignore our emotion. So do you not eat? We eat. Do you not dance? We dance. Do you not listen music? We listen music. So we don't artificially try to divert our emotion. Rather, we try to give it a channel. We try to give it a flow so that the emotion will flow in a specific way, and then over the time it will be form. It will become a matured emotion. And you remember recently I gave a class in temple, and I said that there are 4 types of attachment, 4 types of interaction we have with the things of the material world. And I'm going to say that once again. The very first one is, uh, you know, very menial level of attachment, which is basically for the sense enjoyment. Completely Vishaya Ashakta, fully doing things for Vishaya, for sense enjoyment. Then the higher than that is dovetailing, means you are still, like all of us are trying to dovetail. We still have house, we still have family, we still have jobs, we still have cars. We are not living any of those things, but we are dovetailing it. Means we are using it for right purpose. Or no, we are using our job to help be self-realized. We are using our money to go to India and go to the holy places. We are using our car to drive to temple. So we have some degree of Vishaya Shakti, but we are also adding some degree of devotion. And then the higher stage is Yukt Vairagya, where you are doing things only which is for your spiritual advancement. And then the 4th stage is basically a spontaneous devotion, Raga, where you have done so much that over the time you have realized that everything in the material world is fictitious. Everything is going to be taken away from me. The only reality is that Krishna. So with full honesty, with full sincerity, avoiding all the distractions that I have around. I would like to just focus. And this is not something that you can do artificially. Rather, your consciousness has to elevate. Soul has to elevate. So to answer your question, this is a process of transformation. This is a process of transition. Okay. So we were just like few years back, Vishayasakt person, did everything for sense enjoyment. Now slowly and slowly, we are transitioning to the spontaneous devotion, Shuddh Rag, Shuddh attachment. So this transition process has, in the middle, you have a blend, right? So that's why right now we are in a stage where we have both type of taste. You have also taste for being into the temple, chanting name of Krishna, doing some service, and trying to be devotee. Also we have some taste going to the other places and trying to enjoy senses, show people that I'm very rich, show people that I'm very powerful, respect me, I'm smart, this and that. So we have both type of thing. So that's what you are saying, and that is not bad. As long as you are seeing it, since you are talking about it, I can see that you are seeing it. And that seeing is very good, because with due course of time, your emotion will mature, and then you will go on the other side, and that will become your natural transition, not forceful transition. But at this time, like take the example of Buddha, the people who follow Buddhist school of theology. What they do, they are trying to come to the stage of nirvana. And what is nutshell nirvana means? Nirvana means coming out of this world. So you live in a sea, but you pretend that I'm not in the sea. Okay, so they completely detach themselves from the any emotion. And Krishna will talk about that a little bit, and we'll explain that. Any emotion of the material world, rather they'll be fully situated in themselves in the trance. I don't have to deal with any emotion. But we don't follow that process. We follow the process that I just said, transition of our consciousness, slowly and slowly, so that it's not too heavy on the living being. My dear friends and devotee, at the end of the day, how much love? You can be something very powerful, mayor of the St. Louis, very prominent person, all the opulence at your lotus feet, everybody. But at the end of the day, the most important thing that you would gain in your life is that how much true, sincere love you have developed for Krishna. When you get in front of the deity, Radha Krishna deity, how your heart is communicating, how you are feeling, that is the true gain. And that's where we want to come. We want to have some degree of substantial love, awakening of our consciousness. That's why this course is. That's why anything else that we do. The purpose is not the activity itself, but the purpose is transformation. Anything that we do should transform our consciousness. Otherwise, sarmeva hi kevalam. Just the so this is not bad. We have to go through this transition. Is it good enough, Mataji, for now? We'll definitely build on this topic later. So this chapter, first 10 words, Arjun is being very indecisive. He has not made up his mind. He is in a stage of indecision to fight. And he has further doubts. He's adding some more doubts about why he should not fight. He is in deep grief and lamenting that I should not fight. And then after that, he accepts Krishna as Guru. Very, very important point
to be noted. Before we get into this discussion, the foundation is that Arjuna is now accepting Krishna as Guru. Very, very important that we build relationship as a teacher and students. So by first 10 verse, Arjuna gives more doubts and he accepts Krishna as his spiritual master. Then Krishna starts talking. And first part, Krishna help him understand what is the difference between body and soul. So analytical study of the matter, please make a note, matter, living being, soul, and then the environment. So soul, and then the environment, and then Supreme God. Okay, when we study these things in a very analytical way, once again I'm going to tell it, make sure that it's clear to all of you. Matter, so body is made of matter plus anything that is out there, and then the soul, and then super soul, and then a relationship between soul and super soul, right? Plus time and other part of it, but at least for now understand, when we try to see what that matter is, the body is, who we are as a soul, who the Lord is. Lord part is coming later in the 4th chapter, and then what is their relationship. All of that when we study in a very analytical way, then that is Sankhya. And then Krishna talks about Sakam Karma, performing the duties which are objected, which objectives are sensual enjoyment. And then he talks about Niskam Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, which means acting without any reaction. And then we talk about Isit Pragya, the quality of the liberated soul or Jivan Mukta. So this chapter had 72 verses, and you can see here that you can study those 72 verses under 5 themes. We can study those 72 verses under 5 themes. So let's now try to at least finish one theme today, first 10 verses. So verse number 1 to 3, and this is something you can make a note, 1 to 3. Lord Krishna chastises Arjuna and disapprove his so-called compassion. So Krishna is going to chastise Arjuna and try to help him come out of this lamentation. So see what Lord says here. Not Lord says here. Lord Krishna is not going to say anything here at this point until we come to that stage. But or the point that I was trying to make is that you will see that Krishna is talking here, but real instructions starts from verse number 11. So here is very much Krishna is trying to point out towards Arjuna's so-called compassion, or how to say that in a simple way, that I understand you have some pain, right? When we start talking with a person, right? Like for example, if my wife is crying for XYZ reason, I cannot right away giving her, start giving her the instructions. Rather, you accept that I understand that Mataji or whoever, you have some problem going on in your life, but you know that you are part of this material world, and be rest assured that you will have to face the problem, right? So first accept person's position. So Sri Bhagavan Vacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna said, Kutastva kasmalam idam vishame samup samapasthitam. So Kutastau kasmalam idam vishame samupasthitam. Kutas, from where? Tau kasmalam. Kasmalam is a word that is referred to like something that is very impure, impurities like dirt, something that is not proper. So kasmalam idam, how come, from where this impurities, visame samapasthitam, samupasthitam, how this impurities has come upon you, vishame, at this critical hour. You are a warrior, Kshatriya. We are assembled here in the battlefield to fight. Now we have to fight. And in the middle of the battlefield, you are saying all of these things. How come this kasmalam idam visame samupasthitam? From where these impurities have come upon you in such a critical time? Anarya justam ashwargayam akriti karma Arjuna. This is anarya, arya. So this is an arya. Arya means we said that we are coming from Arya, some family. Our forefathers were Arya, which means again code of conduct. They have some value system. So an arya justam ashwargayam akriti karma Arjuna. This is not going to be good for you. Why? Because it does not befit a civilized man who have values, who values liberation. So an arya, an arya. This is an arya behavior. How can somebody who has values can act like that? Also, do not lead to higher planets. Aswargayam. Why? Because Varnashram dharma, every person has a certain prescribed duty that one has to do. So as a Kshatriya, your dharma is to help establish dharma. Supposed to fight. But how? You are not acting as a Kshatriya. If you not follow your prescribed duty, then it will lead you to the hellish planet. And if the human being has some responsibility, we have intelligence. If we don't use our intelligence, we'll lead to the lower planet. Right? The body has some responsibility, some degree of expectations from it, some code of conduct, some higher degree of behavior. Now, in your opinion, somebody might be wrong. Unless and until your opinion is not based on the opinion that is given by Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu, then please don't give your opinions. It's just the emotional opinions. So it doesn't lead to the higher planets. Why? Because you are Kshatriya. You have prescribed duty that you have to do. Akriti karma Arjuna. Akriti karma. Sukriti karma, akriti karma. When people will know that somebody like Arjun, who has ever been victorious, has never been defeated, has left the battlefield. How infamy is going to be that for you? Klavyam mashama gamah partha. Do not yield to this degrading impotency. Krishna is being little heavy here. Klabhyam mashama gama partha. Naitat tva upapadyate. Naitat tvaya. It's not suitable for you. Shudram hridaya dorbalyam. The so-called weakness of your heart is not suiting, not befitting to your personality. Tyaktva utistha parantapaha. Leave it. Get up and fight. Oh, chastiser of enemy. So this is how Krishna is saying to Arjun that Klabhyam Mashama Gama Partha. How come this degrading impotency has come upon you? This is not suitable. And you are trying to be non-violent. You are trying to be magnanimous. This is nothing but is your Hridaya Dorbalyam. I'll talk about this Hridaya Dorbalyam later. This Hridaya Dorbalyam is one of the reason that we have been suffering. We have been going through all the pain and pleasure. Punarapi Janmam, Punarapi Marnam. It's all happening. And one of the factor for that is this Hridaya Dorbalyam. What will happen to me if I become pure devotee? What will happen to me if I let everybody run over me? What will happen to me if I become subservient, obedient to somebody? What happened to me if I start listening to seniors? What happened to me if I surrender my life to a spiritual master? What happened to me if I don't work? What happened to me? This is all in Shastra says that Hridaya Dorbalyam, short-sightedness, because living being is taking the pathway that is destined. The soul has certain trajectory that it has to follow. And we are just going through it. You prakriti kriya manani gune karmani shrosha ahankar vimudatma karta hamiti manate. I'm the doer type of mentality is basically our false ego. So this Hridaya Dorbalyam is one of the cause that living beings are suffering. So Krishna is called here Madhushudan because he killed the demon Madhu. Now Arjuna wants Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that he has about what he's perceiving. So Arjuna has further doubts, and let's see what are those doubts. How can I counteract men like Bhishma and Drona? Better to live by begging. So 4, 5, 6, I'm just going through those verses. So verse number 5 talks, he says that Bhikshashyam, I'll just beg. Better to live by begging rather than fighting with Bhishma and Drona. I don't know which is better for me, being conquered or conquer over them. I don't know. I don't know what is good for me. Arjuna is confused. Should I dutifully fight and risk unnecessary violence? Should I refrain and live by begging? Victory is not certain anyways. I don't know that I'll be victorious or not. We can fight. Some people from our side, some people from their side will be killed, but we don't know that we'll be victorious or not. And then he says, victory is also defeat, as we can't live happily after killing our relatives. So he further gives some more argument, and then Arjun surrendered to Krishna, and Krishna began to speak. So Arjun accept Lord Krishna as his guru, and that has happened in verse number 7. Beautiful verse that says, Karpanya dosa pahat swabhava prikshami tvam dharma shamudaceta yat shreyah shan nishitam bruhitan me sisyaste ham shadhi mam tvam prapannam. Karpanya dosha pahat swabhava. Due to miserly weakness, I am fully afflicted. Prikshami, I'm asking, Tvam, to you. Dharma Shamudha Chetasaha, I'm confused about my dharma. Prikshami Tvam, Dharma Shamudha Chetaha, I'm not sure about what is my duty. So I'm asking you, what he's asking, Yat Shraya Shan Nishitam Bruhitan me. Shreya, kindly tell me, what is Nishitam? Certainly, Bruhi Tanme, the best for me. Bruhi, the one that's going to benefit me. Tanme, to me. So kindly tell me for sure what is best for me. Sishyas teham sadhimam tam prapanam. Sishyas teham sadhimam tam prapanam. Now I am your disciple, and as a soul surrender unto you. Please instruct me. Arjuna is saying that. And all of us in reality, we don't know what is Yat Sreya Shanyushitam Bruhitan me. We don't know what is certainly the best for me to do. I don't know. But what we have to do, Sishyasitaham sadhimam tvam parpanam. We have to start learning to surrender. Start receiving. So don't take surrender in a very wrong connotation, by the way. What we are trying to say here by that start receiving now. You have been acting as a mirror. We have been acting as a mirror. Anything that comes get reflected. But be the absorber. Give some time and see what is talking about. So guru must be approached to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the solution. Arjun wants to stop friendly talks with Krishna and become disciple of Krishna as he finds no one superior to him. Of course, Arjun is pure devotee. He knows that there is no one superior to him, but he has been acting so far as a friend. And friendly talk cannot lead to conclusive, instructive discussion. there has to be a relationship, formal relationship, which is Arjuna is going to consider Krishna as his spiritual master, not that friendly talk. And on that talk, he's going to receive, the very important point that I would like to once again share. We don't have ability to receive. Soul, when they get the body, through body, soul is manifesting their desire. And with that desire, false ego, mind, intelligence, all of them are working. And with that, the reception ability, the ability to receive becomes very weak, very weak. And then soul keep on coming and going, coming and going. So there has to have some relationship for that reception to begin. Verse number 8, I can find no means to drive this grief, which is drying up my senses. O Arjuna, the chastiser of enemies, also known as Rishikesha, I shall not fight. He fell silent. My dear Lord, I shall not fight. My intelligence is not helping me understand any good. Then Krishna smiled and spoke. So from next class, we'll see what Krishna is talking to Arjun. But up to verse number 10, we talked about how Arjun was still indecisive to fight, and he has accepted Krishna as his spiritual master. So we'll give some time and would like to hear some feedback, some discussion. Any doubt you have? We should talk also. It's very important to little bit talk. And if you are not aligned, or if you have any thing that you would like to share, please go ahead, do it. You're good then? Anybody has anything? Brinda Mataji, are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
You have something that you want to share? Anything? Some of the points that we talked about?
I just have one question. How we have to choose or approach a guru?
Yeah. In reality, Mataji, at due course of time, depending on degree of your sincerity, you will come to that stage where you will know who is my spiritual master. If you have come this far, where we are trying to study Bhagavad Gita, take the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, apply them in our life, then that part will also come. The first very basic step is Shraddha. Have some faith. And with that faith, Sadhu Sangha happens. So with faith, the next step is that that we need to have association of the like-minded people, people who are trying to help themselves. And while associating with sadhu, Krishna will give you the intelligence. You will meet devotees, and you'll find the person who is talking to your soul, talking to your heart. You will know that this is the person who can inspire me and take me home back to Krishna. And bhajan kriya will happen also at the same time. Anartha nivritti will also happen at the same time. So you have some shraddha, we all have some shraddha. We need to associate with devotee. We need to engage in process of bhakti and also try to minimize our bad habits. And all of that happens simultaneously. And you will find a person. Everybody has found one. If you have faith in a spiritual master, which we should have, because that's the purpose here. We are seeing that. And that's the reason I wanted to stop here also, because give you a pause with this take-home message that Arjuna has now accepted. And that's why I have this picture here on the screen. Arjuna has now accepted, saying that, my dear Lord, I take you as my spiritual master. Please help me understand what is Shreya, what is best for me. So this process will help us come to that. I have a spiritual master, and I met him first time when I was in Columbus. Maharaji was there in the temple. And at that time, I was very irregular, with my devotional service, very irregular. I would chant one day 16 rounds, one day I would not chant. But I liked it a lot. And there was one Prabhupada disciple. So Mataji will be cooking the prasadam, very good cook, Kamagiri, Hare Krishna Kamagiri Devidasi Mataji. She is African American, born in America, though, I believe. Disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So we'll just, Prem Vilas Prabhu will ask me to help Kamagiri Mataji. I'll be just, helping Mataji. Mataji say, hey, Ram Pandit, that was my name. Can you cut some bagan, like eggplant, peel the potatoes, wash that pot. And then whenever somebody from outside will come, then there'll be a special cooking, for the devotee. So me and one of my friend, he lives in India, Rahul Prabhu, we were going to school there, students, so we'll go there just for the food. So Mataji will say that, Rama Paswai Maharaj is coming. Can you go and help in the cooking? So we go there, and I have served Rama Paswai Maharaj a lot when I was in Columbus. We'll just, Mataji, I don't know if you all know her or not, but she has been here, and I'm going to request her to come here again, Lalita Mataji. She will cook like, for any devotee, like 20 items. And all of them are so precious, high quality item. She makes everything like so nicely, very carefully. She would go personally to the store and buy cauliflower, broccoli, nice, good quality, heavy, expensive one. So we did some, we serve. So I'm trying to give you the importance of Sadhu Sangha. And then His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, my spiritual master, happened to be coming to the town with one of his brahmachari disciple. So I was very busy, and at that time I did some kirtan. Kirtan has always been part of my life. I love kirtan. And then I was helping in kitchen, and I had a, that what do you call it? Like, chef has their, what that thing is, like you put on the gown type of thing. So I was cooking in the kitchen, and Maharajji came to the temple. And one of my god brother took Maharaji to the kitchen and said, he was introducing everybody that this is this, and then my turn came. So that devotee said, Maharaji, this person is Ram Pandit. He's PhD postdoc from IIT. He's super, you know, uh, hardworking. He is doing a lot of services, mostly on the weekend. He just is in the temple, and he's doing tons of services for the temple. Maharaji came forward and just hugged me like this. I still have the picture. Hold me tight. And from, that's how Maharaji does, loves, from this side and that side. He hugged me from this side and that side, and then said, thank you so much for everything that you are doing. Mataji, that was transformation of my heart. From that day, I don't know what happened in my heart. I started showing more enthusiasm and started chanting very carefully my rounds, and started helping organizing the Sunday feast. There will be 4 people will be doing the Sunday feast in a church. The church was basically Unitarian church, and we'll go there and lift everything on the van, put there. So I have done a lot of physical service. Now a little bit, my body doesn't support me. Both me, Rahul Prabhu, and there was 2 devotees from India. Both of them are professor now in BITS Pilani and in one of the university in Pune somewhere. Those 4 people, we were like, young man, work very hard, and that helped. Getting the mercy of spiritual master through devotees changed my life. So that's how it is. Bhakti will come to you through devotees. One devotee will engage you in devotional service. One will engage you and introduce your spiritual master to you. See, that's what happens in my life, Gave me service, introduced to my spiritual master. Nothing, just said that. So many, personality were coming. I didn't know much about my spiritual master either. Nothing, just that one of the Maharaj. But then after that, I felt a strong connection. Here is my spiritual master. I need to take shelter. So I waited, and my heart kept on, I was in Dallas, so many Maharaji will come. So many Maharaji will come. I would serve. I'm very close to so many Maharajas also. But my heart always said, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj is my spiritual master. Finally, I took the shelter. So just since you asked the question, I wanted to give you the story. A story is more kind of practical way to see things than saying some concept. So at the course of time, things will appear in your life. But all we have to do is that have due respect for the process. Okay. Make good relationship with devotee. Don't criticize. Don't, I haven't fought, literally, I haven't fought with anybody. Yes, some conflict because I want people to engage in devotional service. My personality is a little bit heavy because, I like people to engage. I would, if somebody is engaging in devotional service, I would be very, very subservient to that person. I would not see any fault in that person because I know that some of these things will help that person. But if someone is too much talkative and too much shiny and, delegate and not engaging in devotional service, then, it will take time for that person. So it's very important to also do some physical service, menial service, some service, some pain. Take, because we have done a lot of sin. We all are, basically a person who have offended other living being, offended, all the devatas, demigods, offended the spiritual master, offended Lord himself. So we all have acted as a great offender. Time has come for us to show that I'm not going to be that offensive. I have done a lot of sin. Now I'm going to minimize my sin, purify myself. purification of the existence, right? And that is what needed. And then slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, slowly and slowly, we'll move. Not always the person who is nice with you is a nice. Sometimes the person who is heavy is also nice with you. Guru means heavy. A person who is heavy on you, he's also a spiritual master is supposed to be heavy. So I don't have agenda, but what I'm trying to say is that's what you have to be. Don't only go with the path of least resistance. Sometimes also try to go through the path of higher resistance, because the more rubbing off will happen, the more cleansing of the heart will happen, and more self-realization will awaken in our heart. So these are some of the things, Mataji, that I can share. And you seems very, very pious person. Looking at your face, I can see that you have a lot of bhakti inside you. All you have to do is that just give proper channel, and then finally you'll become like sharp, clean, shuddh bhakta. But we all have to go through that process. Is it good enough, Mataji?
It's very inspiring. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So we can adjourn here. Thank you, Jyoti Mataji. Hare Krishna. Please stay. Yeah, you have something, Santa Mataji, you wanted to say? Okay. So if not, then please take care of yourself. I'll see you today in Sunday feast if you are coming. Let us do Vaishnava Pranams. Vanshkal Pataru Vesha Kripa Sindhu Vyayavasha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shamal Bhakti Vrindi Ki Jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Dandot Pranams. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you. See you all next. Oh, one more thing I wanted to talk. Just 2 minutes. So I'm thinking that maybe we can move this class time, because Manohar Prabhu, he is organizer of the Sunday feast in Minneapolis, and he sent me a message last night that Prabhu, I have Sunday feast that I organize. I'll be late, but I'm not sure if I can join. And then also Amognam Prabhu got sick. So likewise, I see that this time has some conflict. So can we find a better time? Do you have any other time that you think? How about 9:30? Sunday 9:30 to 10:30 is good.
Prabhuji, I have virtual class for the kids from 10:30.
Okay, so right after, so you have to sharply, stop at 10:30, huh?
It is very hard, Prabhuji. That's where actually, as you have the 8:30, we have 10:30 to 11:30.
Yeah. Okay. And how about Saturday from 1:30 or 12:30?
Saturday we can keep 9 to 10:30.
Huh?
9 to 9. Saturday 9 o'clock, Prabhuji. 9.
I go to temple.
Oh, okay.
I have some services, that I do in the morning, Prabhupada dressing, and also I like, so I have to start that. I have been not doing it, but me and Gopal Prabhu, both of us are together for that service. So we'll be, okay, maybe let's keep it as it is until next Sunday, and we'll talk about it. Meanwhile, please think, if there is other time. Okay.
Yeah, I can, Prabhuji, I can adjust either way with the afternoon or whether
You are
it's
great, Jyoti Mataji. Always been great. I'm so inspired. I'm so inspired by you. I tell my daughter that she's to talk to you when you can instruct her, give her some guidance.
Oh, no, I'm sure I would learn something from your daughter. I mean, you must have raised
That's
very
your
cool
humility.
people.
That's your humility. But really appreciate. Thank you so much. Dandat pranams, everybody. Hope I'm trying to be, clear when I say something. If it's not clear, you can tell me. In the beginning of the class, if there is anything that you would like to hear in a different way, just let me know and I'll try to do that in your service. Okay. Dandat pranams. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.